Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of Veeam Backup and Replication version 12 tips and tricks. In today's episode I wanted to talk briefly about backup jobs, how you can perform basic backup jobs. So if we go to Home and Backup Job, we can either pick a virtual machine, a Windows computer, a Linux computer, Mac, Unix computer, applications, where we have different kind of application, object storage or file share. So we're gonna choose virtual machine here. As you can see, we got the name of our backup job. I'm just gonna call it just test. Here we have the high priority box that we can actually tick, which is gonna mean that if you create, like, let's say 10 different backup jobs, and few of them are gonna have the high priority box, those jobs are gonna be first in line and the rest of them are gonna be after that. So now of course we're gonna add virtual machines. So if we go to add objects, we can either add the whole virtual host that hosts the machines. In my case it's a hypervisor, it's a Hyper-V which hosts my virtual machines, and you can see the virtual machines here that are hosted. So I can either click here and add the whole host with all the machines. So as you can see, it's about 10 gigs, but of course I can go here and we got here hosts and volumes, and I can go to my hypervisor, then I go to my C drive, and on my C drive I got my two virtual machines, and I can either choose the whole C drive or I can just choose the particular virtual machines that I want to add. Here we got of course VMs and tags if you tagged some of them, and here we have a VM group if we have a VM group created. I'm gonna just go with the hosts and VMs. I'm gonna here choose the host, and then I'm gonna go for exclusions, where you can actually exclude things from the backup that you don't want them to be inside. So let's just add, and we are gonna exclude this VM because I don't want it. I'm gonna exclude this and this, and basically these are my exclusions for this particular job. This is the whole size of the host here. Now we're going to choose next. We are going to choose our backup proxy. So we can either choose a off-host backup proxy if we have one, of course. It depends. I have a backup proxy. An off-host, we can just stick with the default proxy. And of course backup repository. So I'm just gonna choose my backup repository here. So we have here a default backup repository that is being created when the Veeam is installed, and another repository that has been added when I was creating it. Okay, so I'm gonna use this. Now we have retention policy, of course the amount of days or restore points. It depends on which kind of option you want to take. I always take days. And we have like here retention policy, so basically I'm gonna stick maybe to 5 days. After 5 days we should have another full backup. So first we have a full backup, then we have 5 days of incremental backup. Incremental means it's gonna only add things to the backup that are already happened during a certain day. So those incrementals are sustainably smaller. Full backup has, for example, a few gigabytes or terabytes, whichever, and incrementals have like, I don't know, maybe 600, 700, 800 megabytes, depending on what kind of machine do you have. So we can have here keep certain full backups longer for archival purposes. So if you want to keep full backups for a longer time, you can choose this option as well. You can configure it here for how long you want the backups to be kept. And of course you can configure secondary destination for this job, right? Create at least one backup job or backup job to tape job first. So first, if you want to pick this option, you need to have tapes. So you need to have a tape library in order to have this created. Okay, we got advanced options, and of course in our advanced options we have here backup modes. We got reverse incremental, which is slower. We got incremental, which is recommended here. Create synthetic full backups periodically. I'm not gonna choose this option. I'm just gonna choose incremental. And in maintenance we got like storage level corruption guard, which we can perform like health checks, which is quite handy actually. Full backup file maintenance. So we can defragment and compact full backup files, and we can also configure that as well if we wish when we want to do it. And then we got storage. In storage we got compression level, which optional compression level. Basically, if you choose this option, this is considered to be the most basic and optimal version of the compression of your backups. But I used to use the extreme edition, which means that it provides up to 33 additional data reduction over high at the cost of 5 times higher CPU usage. So it's up to you. If you have lots of CPUs and you know that there's not going to be any problem with that, you can even choose extreme. But the thing about it is, your backup is going to be smaller, but your restoration is going to take longer. So it's up to you. Either you want the restoration of the machines to be faster, or you don't mind waiting a little bit additionally while the restore is being done, and you want to save as much space as possible if it goes to backups. Storage optimization, we got 1 megabyte is the recommended size. You can either chop it down to smaller pieces or increase to 4 megabytes. And of course we get encryption. So as one person said to me, either you're gonna encrypt it or someone else is going to. So bear in mind that it's good to encrypt your backups. You can of course, as you can see, I got here already one credential for that, but of course I can add another credential here for the file encryption. Well, basically the password for the file encryption. We got of course notifications, so if you want to receive notifications to your email address, for example, if some jobs went correct, or if there were any errors during this period, then you can choose the notifications here, and you can choose send email notification to the following recipient. You choose your email address, and that's how it's done. Or of course you can specify some things which, as you can see in the subject, are going to be specified as a job result, job name, object count, issues that actually happened. So notifying success, warnings, errors. Everything depends on what you want to have. Hyper-V. So we got guest quiescence. Native quiescence will only be used for virtual machines with application-aware image processing disabled. We got those two things like change block tracking CBT, which is recommended, and this is always on, and volume snapshots as well. I recommend keeping those two boxes always on. If it goes to the Hyper-V guest quiescence, you should actually read quite a lot about it if you want well with this option. Okay, scripts, of course, usual scripts that you can just include in the job as well if you wish. Okay, so like I said, I'm gonna go with incremental maintenance. I only chose this, and of course compression level, I chose the extreme compression level, and encryption password because I chose it, so okay, I'm gonna just add my password here, which is fine. Okay, so basically that's it. We can now go to next, and now we are in the next uh, tree line, which is guest processing. We got here enable application aware processing. We can go here, and if you see, now we got a guest interaction proxy. So basically we can choose here different proxies. So either we are gonna choose we are gonna be left with automatic selection, and the most suitable proxy will be selected from all of your proxies, or you can just perform and select which proxy do you want to specifically use for this job, and I'm gonna choose this proxy because if I remember correctly, this proxy had like 16 concurrent jobs that can run on it. It means that this server has quite a lot of RAM and it can handle quite a lot of processes, and probably it will handle this process quite okay. Okay, credentials. You can provide the credentials here. So first of all, you need to have, of course, the specific user created previously on your server in order to choose the credentials. And let's see if those credentials are actually working, because I don't even remember. As you can see, they are not. So let's actually choose this, because it was a long time since I actually set it up. Okay, as you can see, you would actually need to add the account that is gonna be verified on the server itself. So that's how you can actually test it, of course, if the credentials are okay and it's gonna be working how it's supposed to be. So I'm just gonna choose the first option then, so I will be able just to skip it for now and show you how it actually goes. And maybe I will just go like this, enable, let's check. Okay, so that's fine. We got here automatic selection. Let's go here, let's see. So in automatic selection, let's see, maybe different kinda. Okay, so I guess I'm just gonna skip for now the processing. Let's check the index. If we go to indexing, you can also do the indexing here. Windows indexing, Linux indexing, depending on which kind of indexing do you want to be done, of course, here with the job as well. And as you can see, of course, again, you need to provide the proper credentials here that are specified on the server, since I don't remember which credentials actually were there, and maybe there weren't any and I would need to add new credentials, and I'm not gonna actually do it right now. So let's go to next. We now got the job scheduler, so you can schedule when the job is gonna run. So it's either daily, monthly, or just periodically. And we got automatic retry, so how many fails are gonna be, how many times it's gonna attempt to do the job. So if once and twice and 3 times it fails, it's gonna fail indefinitely, basically. And of course now we can just run the job, right? So and as you can see, both of those machines were picked, so others were skipped because I actually took them out. I didn't want uh, them to be included, so they were in the exclusions. And if you are interested in how your backup is doing, how much speed is being created, you can either go to report, and here you will have all the things. As you can see, it's in progress, or you can actually go to statistics, and you can go into statistics, and here you will also have, so as you can see, how fast it's being processed, processing rate here, of course, right? Processed, read, and it has started. So basically, since the backup is being done, as you can see here, backup one test, and already we have the 2 machines that are backing up here. And we can go to the properties of the first one, and we can check. So the first file is a VBK file, and the second file is a VBM file. So you always have 2 files specified for a backup, and you can see this is a full backup. The same here. And here is the speed, of course. Let's check report. So these are the transfers that are, as you can see, used for both of those machines. Because this is our lab environment, I didn't actually gave here. I don't have like a lot of speed here, so fortunately those machines don't have that large amount of gigabytes. So in total, as you can see, we got 9 gigs. So those 2 VMs are like 9 gigs totally. But in our backup, since we took the extreme packaging option, so that's why actually it also takes a longer while. We can go and check how much it actually takes. So the first backup is almost 2 gigs, and the second one is almost 1 gig, as you can see. So both of them are now almost 3 gigabytes. And we get like 9 here. So let's say both of them are gonna have like 3.5 gigs, maybe a little bit less. So it's still less than this. almost for 2.5, almost 3. So this one has succeeded and only this one is left. So of course you can check different kind of things here. What's going on? Gonna also go here again to statistics, and you can check it up here. And both of them succeeded. So let's take a look. So it has almost 3.5 gigs, and this has 8, so we got like not even 4.5, well, almost 4.5. Okay, still quite good. But now what we are gonna do, we're gonna run this job again. So let's say this job has been run again for another day, and now we're gonna see what actually happens here. So these are the full backups. And as you can see, in both cases, incremental backups are being created here. So we got the full backup, and now incremental backup is being created. The same goes for the second machine. And this will of course continue, because we actually in this job, this specific job, we picked 5 retention points, so we should have about 5 incrementals. And there you see, it already finished, because of course there wasn't quite a lot of data here. It's supposed to be gathered, so and basically this is how you actually create a backup of specific virtual machines, or even of specific hosts, depending what you want to choose. Of course you can always choose to create a backup, let's say for a Windows computer, and then we have this kind of job mode where you pick either a workstation or a server, or maybe a failover cluster if you have a cluster, of course, and the mode that is going to be either managed by a backup server or by an agent. In my case, let's say I'm going to choose the server, because I'm going to be backing up a server. Let's choose here DC, so domain controller, individual computer, so I need to add here either the name or the IP address, and of course I need to add credentials, and then we are picking which kind of option we want for this particular server. So either we are backing up the entire computer, we are taking whole image, or we are doing a volume level backup, or we are doing a file level backup, which is the slowest. Well, let's say entire computer, right? Of course, here we can pick where we want to send it. So let's say I'm gonna send it to this default backup repository. Retention points, of course, say 7 days. Advanced storage options, extreme, and here we have synthetic full backups, or create active full backups periodically. So it's up to you if you want to actually create any of those. Enable application over processing. Here we can choose this option as well, or maybe indexing. In this case, I would choose it because the DC, in my case, also has some SQL server additions, so I could choose both of those options here. I wouldn't choose this because I don't need it, and now of course I would be running this job. So since I'm just gonna run the job, but I think it's gonna take quite a lot of time. So let's check statistics. So this is gonna take a while because it's quite a large domain controller. This is basically how you can do a backup job of a specific server, of course a Windows server. If you want to do the same with Linux computers, you get basically the same kind of option here. Of course, here you get only workstation and server, so there is no failover cluster. And basically these are the same options. You just specify what kind of server you want to choose, you specify the credentials, and all of the things here are like in the Windows version that I just showed you. Basically the same thing. Okay, so it's starting to process the data here from the DC. Okay, so now I'm not gonna wait until it actually finishes, so I will conclude the video here. As always, if you like the content, like and subscribe, and I will see you